You guys know what time it is. Get strapped in and ready for some good times. This is the Blowed Out Podcast. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is I, your Fattywithanatty, soon to be 50 damn years old, and about, 36 minutes. Oh, and I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't feeling it today, guys. Of course, I've been feeling it for about the last, 40 years, let's call it. The weather here in northern Utah is back to, we're back out of second spring, I guess. Moving back into second or third winter. Supposed to snow here tomorrow night. Possibly. Mostly in the mountains, which is fine. Probably see a little bit in the valleys. But, as usual, the barometric roller coaster is kicking my fat ass. And this many times around the sun, that means something. I honestly never imagined I would make it this far. I imagine that a lot of you folks are the same. You know, fun fact for being a giant human being, I was only 4 pounds when I was born. On this here almost day in 1976. I was 4 pounds, like 8 ounces, something like that. So I was almost 5, but I like to call it 4. I was in an incubator for 6 weeks at the old McKay in Ogden, Utah. I take that back. The old St. Benedict's, where I believe possibly either at the time or close to the time that my mother, rest her soul, was like a candy striper assistant, I guess. I don't know, maybe she was just a candy striper. She wasn't a nurse. Pretty sure she just changed diapers and did stuff like that. But I can still show you the room, or at least the window from the outside that allegedly I was born in. So that's kind of cool to be able to show that to your kids. Not a lot of those old places exist anymore for us older folk. Well, boomers, I guess, if you ask some of the kids on Facebook now. Apparently we're boomers, but also not true. Somewhere I have, back in the day, a lot of you guys will know this, Gerber used to provide a little baby diary thing for our parents. Somewhere, I still have that. I stumbled upon it a handful of years ago. And of course, I couldn't tell you where it is now, but it's pretty funny because for the first couple of months, it says, Ryan is this, Ryan is that. He's progressing well, he's out of the incubator and he's going to live now that he's bigger than a bottle of Coke and not a baggie, mind you, just a Coke bottle. But it said, he's doing well. Keep feeding him, feed him extra. Feed him this, feed him that, because he needs to grow. And then somewhere about the, probably 4 or 5 month mark, it just says, okay, just kidding, stop feeding him now. So, like I've maintained for years and years and years, well, almost all of them, I was born tiny and have been giant for the rest of my life after that. So, kind of a fun little throwback there. I couldn't tell you what else was going on in the world. I've looked it up a few times, but I didn't in preparation for tonight's show, so I don't have any of those fun facts. I do know that depending on which scientific institute you ask, the planets will be in alignment starting theoretically tomorrow, and then for like the next 5 days. So that's kind of cool. it makes sense. You know, everything is kind of falling together, other than the fact that I'm still here after this long. Oh, well, I guess I'll take it for now. You know, I imagine at the ripe old age of 20, my mother and 21 and a half, something like that, my father probably didn't think that they would ever have to be dealing with the garbage we're dealing with today. I can assure you they had no clue where the Strait of Hormuz was, or why we're deciding to block it with ships. Well, let's just get into it. I hope that what a bunch of analysts are predicting is his reasoning behind this is that he will drive folks and their ships to come fill up with us. That sounds great and all on paper, but as obviously is evidenced by the fact that we've already pissed off China. Who cares if we piss off Iran? But we're already upsetting China because they don't want to deal with us, nor are we gladly allowing them to deal with Iran. So for a lot of those countries, it's probably not that big of a deal. Yes, it's going to drive the price of their petrol products through the roof because of additional crossing, coming all the way over here to fill up and then steaming all the way back. However, it would be a great thing for us, since we decide to sell all of our oil to other places rather than just keep it here where we need it. But what do I know about any of that, other than it would be really nice for the price at the pump to start subsiding, especially given the fact that we don't use any of the shit going through the Strait of Hormuz, other than about, I've seen conservative estimates of 6% that might affect us. Well, I wish someone would tell corporate Maverick that here in Utah, because they saw this as a prime opportunity to just gouge and blame it on supply and demand. I get that that's a thing, and none of them are in business to give stuff away, but come on. Diesel is astronomical, which frankly has never made sense to me from back the first time I ever drove a diesel to owning diesels. I guess I should take that back. I do understand that when every swinging dick and their dog went out a bunch of years ago and bought diesels because diesel was cheap, now the demand is much higher, so they can gouge. But I also remember when diesel was pennies on the dollar because it's literally a byproduct of making gasoline, or basically. It's never going to fix itself. Luckily, folks are starting to drop off of that whole logic, and only in certain places do people still drive diesels because they need them, or a certain percentage of the population, rather than the fact that you can just get a ginormous grocery getter in a diesel, and diesel was cheap at the time. So, with any good fortune, we should start seeing all that subsiding, hopefully sooner than later. Again, I'm certainly no expert. I did notice that I am kind of sounding like I could probably use an Allegra or a Zyrtec, possibly some Mucinex. I don't know. There's just a little twinge of phlegmy something in my voice, so I apologize if I sound funky. I can hear it as well. Anyhow, nothing I can do about it. Luckily, I don't feel any different, so just blame it on, a blown speaker or something, and hopefully by this time next week it will have resolved itself. What I also assume will resolve itself relatively quickly is Kamala announcing that she may be making a run at the 2028 presidential election. Please, God, help us. I understand that a lot of folks think that she would be better than the Donald. I get that. I'm not saying, you guys know that I am not saying that I side with the Donald. However, I probably could not ever be convinced that that other thing could somehow ever be a good idea. And I know we've touched on this in the past about women being president, and the fact that that is in no way sexist, or my feelings about that are in no way sexist. I just know that possibly not even large, but there are percentages of countries in the world who simply would not take us seriously if that were the case. I know this is going to be interesting because a lot of people think, that we can't wait until the first woman president and this and that and the other, and that's fine. It's bound to happen sooner or later. I understand that. I know that. I'm a realist, so I know that it's bound to happen sooner or later. But I certainly don't think that it needs to be a court jester of her variety, meaning possibly drunk more than I, and just a bumbling idiot more than I. I don't think that needs to be the first one. That's probably going to end poorly for many more reasons, than certain countries not respecting our decision to have a woman president. Again, I certainly could be wrong, but being that I've been around the sun this many times, I just see the writing on the wall with the whole female thing in that position, and I just don't see it ending well. And again, especially not one that can't even formulate a coherent thought or stop nervously cackling long enough to be diplomatic in a high-pressure situation. Again, just one fat man's opinion, and I could be wrong, but her and her buddy AOC, I just don't see them fitting the bill. Call me crazy. In all fairness, I am still of the opinion that we still have, basically 2.5 years left to see where this crazy roller coaster of an amusement park ride takes us. And honestly, I don't think I'm saying anything that you guys aren't already thinking, and that it's anybody's guess where this is going to go and how it's going to turn out in another 2.5 years. Christ, if it's anything like we've been dealing with now, woof, I wouldn't even dare to guess, guys. I don't know about you, but I can no more see into what our future looks like at this point than fly to the moon. Even if I had Artemis 2, which, by the way, some really super cool images if I didn't mention that last time, and they splashed down successfully, so there is that. I did find it fascinating that basically our whole lives, depending on how old you are, Lord, I hope that no one that young is listening, but we have been under the impression our entire lives that the moon was just this gray blob of rock. And now some of these images that are being posted, granted, just like everything else, we don't know how many of them are real or not, or photoshopped or doctored up, but man, there's some really wild stuff, guys. I implore you to check it out because there's some really, really bitchin' images coming from that mission. I'm a huge fan of that kind of stuff. I imagine some of you guys are as well, so check it out if you have a minute. I was going to say it's really unfortunate that we don't know which images are AI or photoshopped anymore because they've gotten so good. But in all fairness, they're still super damn cool, even if they are fake. That's one way to look at it, I guess. Also, another way not to lose any sleep about it. Just enjoy it for what it is and the beauty of the shot. And if they added some purples or, if goddamn Copilot or Alexa did it, then, oh well, still looks cool. The other takeaway from where we're at in the world this week, really there's no sense on going full ham on it week after week after week, because it's basically all the same shit with just some stuff added or taken away. So we can just basically get to the cliff notes. And the cliff notes is that apparently, somehow, in this administration's mind, we've already sewn up what we needed to sew up in the Middle East, and we're already looking towards Cuba. God. I'll forego the reaction there. In my opinion, we need to completely settle this, finish what we started, get it all sewn up, come home, maybe put on some tunes, have a beer, and relax for a minute before we go jumping right into the next shit show, which, joke's on them, they're already expecting it. So, honestly, it's a dumb move. Nobody wants it. That's not going to help with midterms in any way, I don't think. Let's just get this one horse shit ride over with and call it a day for a while, don't you think? I don't think that other places, I'm certain there are, but I don't see anyone else necessarily just pleading for our help at the moment other than monetarily. So, like I said, maybe we just kick back and relax for a while after we've actually get this shit figured out in the Middle East, and then go from there before we just turn and burn and start heading into Cuba or, Korea or God knows where else. Honestly, I think, and I like to think of it this way myself, I think we probably can just calm down a little bit. And when I say that, I mean that no sense getting worked up. He's just working through all the bullshit that his big fat head is, got all laid out for his ginormous master plan to be the biggest and the greatest, most powerful person that ever walked the earth. Whatever, as long as you don't drag the rest of us through the mud, I don't care what it takes for you to sleep at night. Yeah, I like feeling cool too, but I try to be conscious of what I'm dragging other people through in my own quest for that. So, I tried to give up on my God complex years ago. I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't still a little bit there, but I certainly try and be conscious of it. So, here's hoping that that is how that will all play out. At least hoping, right? We can hope. We all gotta hope. Hopey, hopey. All right, kids, take a quick break. Go let the studio dog drop a sewer pickle out in the yard. and we'll be back in a minute. Hey folks, Ryan here, aka the Fattywithanatty. Are you a business owner or marketing director looking to explore advertising on the Blowed Out podcast? As we prepare to enter our 4th season, we've gained a listening audience in over 125 cities spread across 21 countries worldwide. That includes a very large listening base right here in northern Utah. To find out how we can help your business grow or to discuss pricing and frequency options, email us at blowedoutpodcast@gmail.com and be sure to include marketing in the subject line. Again, that's blowedoutpodcast@gmail.com, subject marketing. And just like that, we're back. I was going to say the best part about the sewer pickle thing is a dear friend of mine who I don't feel will care. Just last week was on bachelor duty. His dear wife was out of town, and he mentioned that he needed to get home from work so that he could take care of the dogs and whatever messes they had gotten into during the day. Well, he had been gone for, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 minutes is all, and I got a text that said he was trying to clean up a sewer pickle on the floor that one of the dogs had left and accidentally touched it and proceeded to barf on the sewer pickle while he was trying to clean it up. And I realized that is juvenile humor, but that's funny as hell if you actually stop and think about it. You're trying to clean up a turd, and the turd causes you to then expel your guts onto everything you're trying to clean up. I mean, in a way, I felt bad, but I was falling out laughing, just visualizing him just screaming and throwing up while he's trying to clean up this dog turd. Hey, you got to get bigger bags, son. Maybe go for the grocery sack. That's too funny. Too funny. Something we all got to do, right? Something else we all have to do, and I've mentioned it before, and hopefully sooner or later it will stick. But we all need to stop worrying about what everyone else is doing and figure out how to come together on a singular platform with a at least somewhat singular mentality to overcome all this horse shit. That's the only way anything's going to happen. And I know we've talked about it a million times. And I know I say that a lot, so sorry, Shane. But I was going to say, it is possible. It can work. I know that locally we have had, and I probably have mentioned it, but we've had a bunch of kitty ticklers, local, that seem to be, getting busted or discovered. About 3 a day, it seems like. It's probably not quite that bad, but it's a hell of a lot of them. And we have a local judge who just lets them basically walk scot-free if they are law enforcement officers or other judges or people in positions of trust. Like the ones who should be held to the most punishment because they are held to the highest standard because they are in positions of trust. Well, this pile of shit, who I will not name, but there are a lot of folks here in Utah who know who I'm talking about. And I'm sure if you went down the rabbit hole far enough, you could find out her name. I'll leave it at that. It starts with a C. She needs to be dealt with, as do all the folks that she has let just slide by like it's nothing. Just last week, again, I apologize. I can't remember if I mentioned it last week or if it was so fresh that I didn't touch on it, but another judge from just up the road a hair had 8 felony counts of horrific kitty tickling stuff. And he was allowed a plea deal that knocked it down to 3 felonies and basically got, like a month in county and a year's probation and house arrest. Like, what the actual... How does a person in a position of trust, such as that, A, get a plea deal in the first, at all? And a lot of people were quick to say that, a plea deal makes it so that none of the victims had to actually come forward and relive their trauma and everything and in court. And I'm thinking, well, okay, that's fair. I get that. But I would be willing to bet all of the money that I don't have that they're already reliving that every day, and they would probably gladly relive it if it meant putting that piece of shit where he belonged for a long time. So I maintain that no plea deals, no ad seg, no more leniency. They're 3 a day because everyone knows that there are no consequences. They know that they can do this horrific shit to kids. They can diddle them. They can whatever. They can tug each other off or peg each other to the case file images. And I'm sorry, that's a little graphic, but that's literally what was taking place. They can do all these god-awful things, and there's not a damn thing that's going to happen to them other than a fucking ankle bracelet. And I'm sorry, I dropped a pretty hard bomb there. Pretty hard F-bomb, but when is enough enough? They continue to do this because they know there are no consequences, and it's sick. And they need to fry. They need to be held absolutely accountable. And I know that there's folks going to be listening to this saying, well, just like the Epstein files and everything else. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. If there is unequivocal proof about anybody and any of that stuff, they all need to fry. And if that includes the folks who they haven't been able to actually pin anything on yet, fine. I'm not defending any of them. Absolutely not. Curb stomp for each and every one of them. But the evidence has to be there. Just some random, I hate them person coming out with these allegations is not enough. It has to be concrete evidence, and then I'm all in. I absolutely agree with you. These other clowns, the local clowns that I was telling you about, literally got caught with it. Caught with the material in their homes, in their phones, in their computers, all of these things. Like it was cut and dried. It wasn't a random allegation or an anonymous tip or any, I guess it could have been some of those things that led them to the concrete evidence. But my point is, at the end of the day, there was concrete evidence. This shit needs to stop. And if this is a problem where you guys are, I strongly suggest that you speak up. My point to all of that is that there are a bunch of folks who started a petition to have this judge removed. They started a petition to have these cases reopened or the sentencing reevaluated. It is possible to start at a small level and work our way up. Again, I'm not a huge fan of running out there with a piece of poster board and jumping in the street like a dumbass or standing and beating on the damn doors of the courthouse. But there are ways to go about things that are effective. You just have to find that way and then hammer down on it. So, I'm all for voicing out. I'm just not for protesting in the streets. That's where that line is drawn for anyone who thinks I sounded hypocritical there. Hot damn, kids. Also, apparently, I'm a minute late on this. It is officially my birthday. Happy birthday to me. 50 damn trips around the sun. Woo. Wild, wild. Although, it's a good thing I didn't order the hookers, because I would still be right in the middle of recording this when they showed up, and I don't have the kind of time to pay them to sit around. Yep, that just hits different. Not really. And of course, now I remember that I have a bottle of champagne on top of the fridge. That would probably just give me a gnarly headache. Also, not a big fan of smushed grapes. I don't know about you guys. I know it's a thing in a lot of places. I'll have one every once in a while. Glass of wine, but it's certainly not my thing. Anyhow, thanks for sharing the moment with me, everybody. I'll be honest, the recent outpouring of support for the show really makes me happy, and that's a pretty wild birthday gift all in and of itself. I appreciate each and every one of you for listening. I know I say it every time, but man, I can't express that enough. It just keeps getting wilder, guys. And I love it, because that means that apparently you guys love it too. So we're going to keep on trucking as long as you guys keep on having fun. It's probably, I don't know, time to mention all of the things, like the hill climbs. I know you guys will get sick of it by then, but this is what I do, and this is how we do it. So X12 motorcycle hill climb coming up in Utah, Plymouth, Utah, on May 1st and 2nd. Hope to see all of you guys there. I realize that that's a stretch, but I've talked about it before. You won't be disappointed. It's a great time. Have to throw a shout out to our partners, Evolution Design Works, Fine Finishes Inc. out of Salt Lake. Some of the best finish carpenters and custom carpenters in the land, as far as I'm concerned. I'm pretty familiar with one of the main guys, and he's as good as they get. Guys, meticulous. One could say meticulous. But anyhow, we appreciate everything, and so I have to throw that out there. I don't know kind of where else to go with this at the moment, and that's only because I've gotten sidetracked now. I thought I heard a knock on the door and got excited, hoping it was Publishers Clearinghouse with a giant check, but it was just USAA with a giant membership card. So, I mean, it was still something, right? That, and I'm pretty sure Golden Corral is going to call me at any time and tell me that I can now glean the benefits of a senior supper between the hours of 2:30 and 4 p.m. daily. They really hammer down on the mashed potatoes, yams, overcooked pasta, all of the things that are really easy for us old folk to gum. I know. I have to ham it up a little bit, right? I did remember to take my fiber supplements earlier, so, God willing, things will be moving well by the time I wake up to receive my balloon bouquets from, I don't know, all the places and all the folks. Anyhow, I could go on like this for days. You guys know that. Again, we could continue to hammer on all of the normal stuff that apparently is just normal life now, but where's the fun in that, right? It kind of just feels like it gets monotonous. Like I said, I think we've kind of fallen into a good thing where we just touch on the one or two things that have changed since the last time, and it works out well. I would rather continue to make light of it and have good times with all of you guys than just continue down the rabbit hole of whatever. I guess we could listen to Alex Jones, who I don't, but I see snippets. All the guys. What's weird is most of them tend to agree that we are on the right track. And I don't know how that works. Obviously they are better suited to make those calls than I am. So part of me has to just go with it and decide which one of those fellers may or may not be right. I don't know. I don't know. I hope one of them is, at least, right? I hope that we're on the right track. And I hope that it continues to help all of us, not only here in the U.S., but around the globe. All of you guys listening, I hope somehow benefit from all of the mess going on. Or at least, or are allowed to just continue having a good existence. I guess that's my hope. My other hope is that you guys will continue spreading the word about the show. I certainly appreciate that. And that, everybody tries to be a decent human, try and be good to one another. That's all we can do, Plan for the worst and hope for the best, right? I believe that's how the saying goes. So it's never a bad idea to plan and plan again for the worst. Everyone should have some of these things at least in order, at least have something of a game plan for if, God forbid, shit gets worse. But I'm truly hoping that it doesn't. Anyhow, it always comes down to this end of show ramble. So I will forego all of that. Again, love each and every one of you guys. Hope you can try and at least pass that on a little bit. Questions, comments, whatever. Hate, love, roses, money, sponsorships, advertising, whatever you want to put together, hit us up at blowedappodcast@gmail.com or on the social medias. Also, if you are looking to get a hold of one of our partners, Evolution Design Works or Fine Finishes, you can find them on social media as well, or a quick internet search should sew that up for you. We are quickly approaching the bowels of the busy season, but please don't let that deter you. If there's something you're looking to get done, or if there's something you'd like to put together, hit us up. We'll do everything in our power to make it happen for you. And I believe I mentioned last time, there is still time to get in for the hill climbs. If you're a food vendor, or you're looking to be a vendor, or would like more information on that, you can visit x12events.com or hit up us here at the show, or any of the partners, and we can see what we can do to get you in on that as well. So, again, please don't let the busy season scare you away. Some of us, this is what we do. we actually somehow live for it, so we will fit you in and do our best to get you accommodated. Like I said, hit us up. Be good. Try and love one another. Again, hope everyone is doing well. All that good stuff. And we will talk to you guys real soon. Love y'all. Cheers.